This is one of those risks most people underestimate until it happens to them. In the next few minutes, you will see exactly how it works, what the public breach record actually shows, and the simple steps that keep you safe. Let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding about data breaches right away. When your information leaks, it usually is not because you did something wrong. It is because a company that was holding your details lost control of them. You could pick perfect passwords and still be exposed by a service you signed up for years ago and forgot. So this is not a lecture about being more careful. It is a calm plan for making sure that when a leak happens, and it will, it simply does not matter much to you. A breach rarely spills your whole life at once. More often it releases a few fragments. An email address here, an old password there, a phone number, a home address, a date of birth. Any one of these feels harmless on its own. The problem is that attackers are collectors. They gather these scraps from dozens of separate leaks and quietly stitch them together until they have a file on you that is far more complete than any single company ever held. The danger is in the assembly, not the scrap. Forget the image of a lone genius cracking a supercomputer. Most breaches follow a dull, repeatable script. Someone finds a soft spot, walks in with a stolen or guest login, looks around quietly for a while, and then copies out whatever data they can reach before anyone notices. The good news hides in that boredom. Because the path is so predictable, there is a simple defensive move at almost every step. You do not have to stop a mastermind. You just have to be a slower, harder target than the next account on their list. If you change only one thing after watching this, make it this one. The single habit that turns a small leak into a personal disaster is using the same password in more than one place. Picture one key that opens your house, your car, your office, and your safe. Copy that key once and everything opens. When a password leaks from a forgotten hobby site, attackers instantly try the same email and password on your bank, your email, and your shopping accounts. They do it automatically, and it works far more often than it ever should. This is the public breach record, built from years of known, cataloged leaks. Do not read it as a scoreboard of unlucky people. Read the sheer scale of it. What it quietly proves is that exposure is not a rare accident that skips the sensible. It is a constant, ongoing feature of normal digital life, and these are only the breaches that became public. Once you accept that leaks are routine, the goal changes. You stop trying to never be leaked, and you start making sure a leak leads nowhere. Here is exactly why reuse is so dangerous. When a batch of emails and passwords leaks, attackers do not sit and guess. They feed the whole list into automated tools that try those precise combinations against hundreds of other services within minutes. This is called credential stuffing. It is why a leak from a tiny site you barely remember can end with a stranger reading your email. The attack only works because a password was reused somewhere that mattered. Break the reuse, and this entire assembly line stalls for you. Not every breach starts with a stolen list. Plenty start with a single believable message. Phishing is when an email or text is dressed up to look like it comes from a company you trust, and it pushes you to act fast. Confirm your account, fix a payment, claim a refund before it expires. The real goal is to get you to type your password into a page that only looks genuine. Urgency is the whole trick, because rushing stops you from pausing to check. Almost every phishing message is quietly trying to hurry you. The reassuring news is that fakes nearly always leave clues, and the only skill you need is slowing down enough to see them. Check who truly sent the message, not just the friendly name it displays. Rest your finger on a link and read where it actually leads before you tap. Be wary of anything that pressures you to act this second or threatens to close your account. And keep one plain rule in mind. A message that asks for your password or a login code is a warning sign, because real companies do not ask you that way. Some exposure is genuinely beyond your control. When a company you rely on is breached, no personal habit could have prevented their mistake, and that feels unfair because it is. But here is the part that puts the power back with you. You decide how valuable a leak is to whoever steals it. If a stolen password opens only one account, and that account is guarded by a second step, then the prize is nearly worthless. Your aim is not to become impossible to leak. It is to make every leak a dead end. The most powerful single upgrade you can make is a password manager. It invents a long, random, different password for every account and remembers all of them so you never have to. You memorize just one strong master password. Suddenly reuse becomes impossible because every account carries its own unique key, and a leak from one site is sealed off from all the others. This one change quietly defeats the most common attack there is, and once it is set up, your daily logins get faster, not slower. Because passwords can escape no matter how careful you are, the next layer simply assumes the worst and protects you anyway. Two-factor authentication asks for a second proof when you log in, usually a short code from an app on your phone. Even if an attacker holds your correct password, they are stopped at the threshold because they do not have your phone in their hand. Switch it on for your email first, since your email is the master key that can reset almost everything else. Then add it to your bank and main accounts. You do not have to wonder whether your details are already circulating. Free, reputable tools let you type in your email address and see exactly which known breaches it has turned up in. This is not about panic. It is a to-do list. It tells you which passwords to change first. If a service you use appears, change that password, make the new one unique, and turn on two-factor there. Doing that quietly converts old leaks into old news, because the stolen information no longer unlocks a single thing that matters to you. Let's set the risky way and the ready way side by side, because the gap between them has nothing to do with being technical. It comes down to a few small choices, made once and then repeated without thinking. On one side sit the habits that make a leak painful and easy to exploit. On the other sit the habits that make the very same leak completely harmless. None of these demand special skill. They just ask you to decide one time to set them up, and then let the tools do the quiet work for you every day after. You do not need to fix everything tonight. You need a simple order to work through, starting where it counts most. Begin with your email because it can reset every other account you own. Then your bank, then the shopping and social accounts you actually use. For each one, set a unique password with your manager and switch on two-factor. Give it 15 minutes today and a little more across the week, and you will have quietly moved yourself from an easy target to a genuinely hard one, without becoming a security expert. None of this asks you to be an expert, and that is the entire point. Data breaches are common, ongoing, and largely outside your control, but the harm they can do to you is very much inside it. A password manager, a unique password for every site, two-factor on your key accounts, and a habit of pausing before you click. Those four things together diffuse almost everything we have talked about. Set them up once, and they keep quietly protecting you every single day, long after you have stopped thinking about it. That is how it works and how to stay ahead of it. The breach data is from Have I Been Pwned, all public. If this helped, share it with one person who reuses passwords and subscribe to Cyber Explainers to keep your digital life safe.